Well, I'm sorry for the poor lighting in the car here. It's kind of a brilliant day, and you can see the car that I'm driving is not equipped as a lighting studio for video production. I'm back in my hometown of Buffalo, New York, on my way now to the airport to return to Washington. It's Monday morning, May the 11th. And I spent yesterday, of course, as Mother's Day with my mom and my dad, who are residents of a nursing home here. This Western New York State is their native home, and they're not going anywhere. And today's check-in is quite personal, and I want to share it with you because it's very meaningful in my life, and you are a meaningful part of my life and my ministry, and you are more than just, a donor or supporter of our work. You are part of our extended family, and that's how I feel about you, especially after I took the names of all 60,000 of our supporters and prayed for each one by name. I feel like I developed a relationship, a friendship with you, even though perhaps we've never met in person. But this was a very big weekend for lots of reasons. By now you know that I'm spending my last days with my dad on earth because he's been diagnosed with terminal cancer, and we don't know if he has weeks or months or even days left, but he's surrounded by an enormous amount of love. If my parents gave us anything as children and as a family, it was the gift of love, and we have a very, very loving family. My brother Paul, my two older sisters, Kathleen and Colleen, their husbands, their children, my own kids. There's just an enormous bond of love in our family. We are far from the picture-perfect family, believe me. If I started enumerating all of our blemishes, we'd be here all day, and I have less than 5 minutes to do this check-in, so I can't number all of our sins and troubles over the years and quirky personality issues and so on, but I can tell you that the primary bond in our family is love, and that is ministry to my dad, who is dying, and my mom, who will turn 88 this year and is debilitated. She suffered polio when she was a young child and lifelong disability, and now in her older age, she has post-polio syndrome, which is something a little bit like MS, and it's complicated by Parkinson's. And I tell you all that because of the big event this weekend. Of course, there's constant big events with my father and his health care, which I'm managing from a distance. And whenever I can get away, whenever I'm not preaching on a weekend, whenever I don't have heavy responsibilities in Washington, which I don't know when that is. But anyway, I have a very able team, so I'm able to spirit away on a Southwest, inexpensive Southwest ticket up here to Buffalo in less than an hour. So I'm close, even though I'm 500 miles away in Washington. But in any case, Dad needs constant attention. But it was Mom this weekend that was a big threshold for me, because I fed my mother for the first time, spoon-fed her. She was unable to feed herself. And, in those moments, gazing into my mother's face, came a flood of memories and appreciation for the sacrifice of my mother in raising me, my brother, my sisters, in all that she has endured in her life. And here's my mother, a wonderful, deeply spiritual, utterly devoted Christian woman who, among other things, during the pro-life battles, actually subjected herself to arrest during a prayer sit-in on a sidewalk outside of an abortion business here in Buffalo. I think Mom must have been, well, I guess she would have been 70 then, and was taken into police custody and endured a trial for the demonstration of her convictions on the sanctity of human life. She is a great hero. And I thought of the commandment to honor your father and your mother. And at that moment, I couldn't think of anything more honorable than to spoon feed my own mother. And I thought about the cycle of life and how God has orchestrated this thing of the passing of the baton to each generation, and how we nurture our children, hopefully, prayerfully, with love when they are in the womb, and then in infancy and toddlerhood and pre-adolescence and adolescence. Oh man, do I remember those years with my own kids as teens, and then into young adulthood. Now that I have care for them differently, and now I have aging parents and care for them. And this is a beautiful gift from God, how each generation cares for the other. So I wanted to share that with you because it was a very big event in my life.